Hello everybody, welcome back to the Redmen TV. Yes, Liverpool have just ran riot really at Anfield this afternoon at the 3 o'clock kickoff there against Ipswich. It finished 4-1, a very sloppy late consolation goal for Ipswich really. And that's all it was, because up until that point Liverpool hadn't put a foot wrong. We was unbelievable in all of our goals really. There's some real quality on display this afternoon, and we get underway with an early goal as well. Not something that we've been accustomed to this season. There have been more second half moments where we've really stepped up the intensity and the pace of the game, and we've really set the game alight. But we started as we meant to go on in this game in particular. It was Dominik Szoboszlai with the left-footed effort, and then from there it was pretty much plain sailing for Liverpool. Ipswich really struggled to match them in any department, if I'm being honest. But you know the drill. This show is all about your thoughts and your feelings. So let's get into it. How are you feeling after that game? Jerome, why? Yeah, late into the game, this was a blatant red card. This really, let's be honest. Says that assault on Endo was a blatant red. Not sure what the ref was thinking. Do you know what? For me, I could almost justify why the ref wouldn't have went to a straight red. But what I then would struggle to justify is why VAR have not told him to at least have a look at it, because he's only just come on, and you think that's his first, a bit of action in the game. His timing's not there and all the rest of it, and you can kind of skate over it and say it's a little bit orange maybe, but VAR should be looking at that saying that's a high foot, and he could have seriously harmed the player, and as a result, by the letter of the law, that could easily have been a red card. Another day, another player, another moment, that could have easily been a red. So Ellie M says, Errol, can I have your shirt? I've been told it needs to be updated, so this one is slightly out of date, but I just love it. Them Scousers again, that's what we're about. So I'm not giving it away. It's sentimental now. We've just beat Ipswich in it, so yeah, I'm keeping hold of it. Sorry. Who else have we got? Yeah, CC says 3.2k likes plus Errol, not too shabby. Yeah, you guys in the comments and in the chat today have been absolutely on fire. That early goal, I think, really helped everybody, because there was a couple of nervous cats out there earlier today. But you know what? Yous have all managed to come back round. Everyone's got big smiles on for the rest of the weekend now. We can sit back. The 3 o'clock games are done and dusted. We can look forward to the likes of match of the day tonight. City Chelsea are going to knock 7 shades of all sorts out of each other, hopefully, and we can relax because we've got the Champions League midweek, and then we go up against Bournemouth, who have I think it might have finished 4-1 or something, or 4-2, something crazy. Yeah, Jason Parker says, keep wearing the shirt, Errol. Absolutely. It might have to make another little cameo. Teddy Border Collie says, it was a great game, we were brilliant, so up the Reds. Yes, you know what? I predicted 3-0 in my score prediction and thought it would be very comfortable. I didn't think it was going to be that comfortable, though, I'll be honest with you. That was Liverpool, in terms of their dominant best, being able to just have far too much for the opposition. They couldn't lay a glove on us, and it just meant that whatever they tried, we just kept pinning them back in, and we was all over them. We swarmed them. It was attack, wave after wave after wave, and they just struggled to live with the quality. It wasn't even really the intensity at times, because I did feel as though Liverpool were playing in second gear. It wasn't necessarily intense game of football. It was just Liverpool being clinical and being ruthless and having pure quality on the ball in that final third. And we was brave, committing bodies. I was a little bit skeptical of the ability of playing Diaz in the middle, in the 9 position, purely because would he occupy the right spaces enough? But in him freeing those spaces and dropping a little bit deeper, it meant that Szoboszlai had to be a little bit braver on the ball. It meant McAllister had to be braver making those off the ball runs into the box. Cody Gakpo had to be a target man. What do we behold? He's there. He pops up with 2 goals. So yeah, it was great from that perspective. I'm being reminded it was 5-0 for Bournemouth, but yeah, that's crazy. How he says tight. Well, you can't take the shirt off man's back. Are you gonna be like, yo, I want your shirt? We ain't played each other. We're not just swapping shirts like that. Yeah. Look how we celebrate. Look how they celebrated their consolation goal. Yeah, that was all. That's all they had at the end of the day. Nathaniel Armstrong's with a super chat says, lad, do you think Trent is leaving? Do you reckon? I honestly don't know anymore. And I feel like that's sad because I was very much firmly in the Trent has to stay camp. He has to stay. But the more it's all gone on, and the noise, and some of his body language at times, and some of our body language as fans, and it's a two-way thing. It might have sowed more seeds of doubt into his mind. But if you're asking me who's the best team in the world right now, it's Liverpool by a big distance. And in terms of, can that become a sustained thing? Because Madrid are always going to be ever present in Spain, across Europe. But can Liverpool continue to play at this level for the next 2, 3, 4 years while Trent's in his prime? Based on everything that I'm seeing at this moment in time, and the fact that Arne Slot is going to want to, from my perspective, look after his players and bring them in. Bring in new players as well. I think it definitely has to be. It has to be, yeah, really, for me. But we'll see. We will see. Probably Trent's best game, attacking and defensively, he was extremely good. Yeah, I thought Trent was brilliant today. You will have to get back to me as well, because we're going to do the player rankings in about 15 minutes, and we are going to start to try and figure out, because I don't think there's that many of you messings, if I'm being honest with you, so we're going to have to try and sort them all out there in that boss section. There's a lot of boss players there today, and we're going to have to figure out who the man of the match is, so stick around while we do that. Christoph says he's completed club football here, though. That's a good point, but he hasn't done it as a captain. He was a part of a team very young that had superstars around him, and we didn't carry him because he contributed heavily towards that success. But I still think, if Steven Gerrard could have overtaken Manchester United in terms of league titles whilst being at Liverpool Football Club, and cement them 2, 3 titles above them, so it makes it very difficult for them to kind of retain that record. He would have well and truly done that in his time in his career if he'd have had the players around him on the level and the quality enough to have been able to do it, and the management as well. I just think that there are still things that could be achieved here. And look at it this way: if Trent wins another Premier League, maybe another Champions League, ends up becoming the captain the following season, and then all of a sudden now he's got the opportunity to do it as the captain, extend some titles in the midst as well, seeing some next crop of talent. If Salah wins the Ballon d'Or next year, it just shows that it can be done here. You don't have to necessarily go to Madrid to do it, but who knows? David Willinghamton. Do you know what, right? I'll speak to the lads after this, because I love the shirt. I think it's a belter. It's been sat there in the wardrobe for a hot minute, and I haven't dug it out until obviously today. But it does need updating. We've won a League Cup since the shirt was made. So I will ask the lads, is there a way that we can update the shirt? Because it would have been on Redmen TV's Redmen merch. So yeah, Richard the Red said the hair is looking good. Oh yeah, we started the dread journey, bro. So that's what we're doing at the moment. The next couple of months, the hair will be shaped and different and styled differently over the course of time. But yeah, we're trying something new at the moment. If he goes and doesn't work, is he welcome back? I don't know. I think the door gets closed to a large extent, really, because under what circumstances could he come back? Because obviously there's always going to be financial implications. The reason he's not signed a deal is because I imagine there's financial implications preventing it from just being a foregone conclusion that he's going to stay as a Liverpool player. So, if Madrid then put him on the market, what would be the price for somebody of a Trent's quality in his prime? And then would Liverpool be really looking for a right back, and would we ever really shell 60-70 million pound upwards for a right back in that position? You probably wouldn't think so. So yeah, if you do want other shirts like this, though, there are shirts like this on Redmen merch, so go have a little look at that catalogue, because there might be something similar that's already up on there as well. Yeah, that's another brilliant shirt there. The lads have done some belt and tops and merch over the course of the existence of Redmen. So yeah, do check out Redmen merch as well, guys. Look, yeah, let's think about what else in the game. What else stood out to you? Yeah, there we go. Who's saying that? He'd fall off his arse and it would be the worst thing he could do for a footballing life, but I'm sure he'll be eating well. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, my thing is, right here, right now, I'm more concerned about Liverpool winning the Premier League, Liverpool having a really strong campaign in the Champions League. It feels like all of the contracts are probably going to go to the wire, as in it's probably going to be done post-season now. I've made my peace with that because hopefully there's just something else that like pulls you back in. When you think it's all over, we find a way to pull you back in and we'll be having more. But yeah, we will wait and see because from my perspective, the league is just paramount, most important thing. Let's have a little look on Twitter as well, see what the guys and girls over there are saying, and just see. The celebrations are out. Asking Mo. So dominant performance there. Pasty Nom says job was superb at times with very dull bits. Pathetic how Chiesa is being treated, by the way. Sell him if he's only going to get 5 minutes in such a dead game. It makes no sense. And why Diaz goes off, he hadn't scored yet. Is it Salah FC? Get him off and Chiesa on that right-hand side. But Trent was 5 stars. Look, at the end of the day, in terms of Chiesa, I would hope now that he does get a proper run out in midweek. I would think there would be a little bit more warning sounds or alarm bells going off if he doesn't feature heavily in a game that effectively has nothing riding on it. I think obviously Salah setting records in the Champions League already in terms of the most goals that we've bagged in the Champions League, and the fact that he's overtaken Thierry Henry this week, he could probably do with a week off as a little bit of a reward for that. I think being able to rest and rotate somebody like Diaz. Again, I'm fine with that, to be honest with you. So I don't think it's that deep, if I'm being honest. We'll see. Yeah, that's the only other thing. The only thing that draws it back ever so slightly, should have kept a clean sheet. Slot would be fuming that we didn't keep it. I think he'll be disappointed because I think it is sloppy from a defensive standpoint in the fact that Liverpool just switch off. D says, Szoboszlai was definitely the man of the match for me. I thought he was very good. Very, very good. And I think he just sets the tone. Genuinely sets the tone with us. What else? Easy 3 points. Mac and Trent were effing boss today. Disappointed Freddie didn't get more minutes, but hopefully he plays against PSV. And that's all I'm going to ask for, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, he's still trying to get up to full fitness. And when we're throwing him in games, that matters. If it doesn't work, then it's only a hindrance to the team. We can really assess where he's up to against a team that wants to perform really well and want to put in a performance, but it's not the be-all and end-all within our season if we don't perform to the best of our ability. So being able to see what he can do in those set of circumstances as a bit of a test bed for him, it's almost like the most perfect mid-season, pre-season game for somebody of that ilk in terms of that kind of rehabilitation back into first-team football. I'm fine with it at this particular moment in time. I'm still not exactly sure what the Chiesa signing is supposed to be, but I am very willing to be shown this is how we're going to use him between now and the end of the season. And if he can get a couple more minutes under his belt, the likes of Plymouth, the likes of PSV, he can pop off the bench and contribute in some way and start to work his way into at least slots thinking of when it comes to this. Because my aim is, my expectation should be between now and the end of the season, you should be the 60-minute mark, man. 60 minutes when we need to freshen something up, we're turning them and looking to you. Until he can do that for me, I'm not sold. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be wowed by anything you do in the last 5-10 minutes because I need you to be playing at least 30 minutes worth of football once a week, if not twice. But we'll see. We will see. Endo battling on after that. Swift knee to the dome is the energy I like to see from our boys. Yeah, the guy there, Incensio, just tried to take off his head top, and boy, Endo was very, very lucky to come out the other side, and as I say, he battled on thereafter. So very, very good performance from everybody involved, but importantly, no major injuries where Liverpool were concerned. Certainly, we know that there was the injury in the first half to the lad over in Ipswich, and we hope that it's not as serious as it looked. John Lee David Blackshaw says 3 points, 6 points, 3 points in the bag, 6 points clear, and a game in hand. Great game, job done, Errol. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that. And I completely agree. That was all it was about. I think I put it out there on Twitter just before the game started. It was literally just go out there and just get the 3 points. I'd love to see a Nunes goal, and let me just crack back on with the weekend with a smile on my face. So yeah, make sure you do keep locked in over on the channel over the next couple of days and weeks, because there are going to be some things that you might not have seen thus far with the Redmen that you might start seeing more regularly. Who knows? And also, if you do want to check us out on Twitter, it is just Errol0151 at the moment as well. So if you want to get over there and start following your boy, it is always appreciated. Let's see. Bournemouth coming away, coming at a good time, them being up for it plays into our advantage. I said this before, mentioned it very briefly. The fact that they might have obviously scored 9 goals over the course of the last 2 weekends and are in a really confident moment. They may just feel as though they have a little bit about them, that they can go toe-to-toe with Liverpool, that they can attack us, that they can play us at our own game, and fair play to them if they manage to do it and get a result. It just shows how good that they are at this particular moment in time. But also it could play into Liverpool's hands in the sense that we've had a lot of time to manage this game today, and then equally next week in midweek, I can imagine there's going to be quite a lot of changes and rotation involved, which then means players should be fit for the Bournemouth task at hand. And I think it plays into our hands, really. If the team opens up and leaves us that space, we should be able to pick them off. And I'm hoping, as I say, now we can turn our attentions to some of those kind of games, the games that matter. I'm hoping that Liverpool have got exactly what it takes. Let's see. I just love it when the lads who are coming off the bench or being subbed, it's like they're coming home from a 3-year tour and being welcomed back to the family with big smiles and love. You never walk alone, and Trent is staying 100%. I wish I had your confidence. I genuinely wish I had your confidence. Do we think the kids would be slaying in Europe? I still don't think Slot would go fully wholesale. I'm still adamant he'd like to keep some sort of spine and legs in certain players. So maybe a Robertson goes again. I think you're going to bring in a Kwanzaa. I think it's going to be an Endo in midfield. I still think you're going to end up seeing a McAllister or a Szoboszlai in there as well. I don't think they'll both get the night off because obviously the injury to Jones doesn't necessarily mean we can rest 2 of them. Maybe a Morton. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I don't think he's going to completely do wholesale changes in the midfield. I would expect that a Darwin Núñez would likely start. I think Cody Gakpo might get a feature. I would be resting Mohammed Salah, but again, that'll be a conversation. Baloo says, believe, Errol, believe, my friend. I know at the start of the season, I was like, boom, adamant, 100% he's staying. I'm here, little birdies saying, this is what's happening. He's staying, he ain't going nowhere. Don't just ignore the noise. And then the noise got loud and I kind of bottled it. And now I'm not 100% sure, if I'm being honest with you. Who's a very, very intelligent semi-professional chess player? I have no idea who you're on about. Dickie Red says I'm 53-47 on Trent staying. Yeah, that's it. Like all of me's like I just want him to stay, but then there's like a little niggle and noise in the back at the moment. That's kind of like he could go, he might go, and I'm like no. But anyway, it'll be what it will be. Adeyemi Blessing says I'm personally happy for us complaining to get Chiesa to see more minutes than him. To get Chiesa to see more minutes than for him to see more minutes and get injured. Okay, yeah, I get that. You'd rather us complain about the fact that we're not seeing him get more minutes than him actually get the minutes, his body not be up for the task, and then his body breaks down and gets injured, and then we don't get to see him play any minutes. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I hear you. I do hear you on that. Regina Frank says, why do people give Mo such a hard time with all the goals, the assists and winning us game? Nobody gives Lewandowski a hard time. And he's just taking penalties for Barca. Hey, look, I am not going to be sending for Mo this year. I was a little bit harsh, admittedly, this time last year, probably till the end of the season. And I was one of those that was foolish enough to think that Liverpool would take a big bag of cash from Mohammed Salah and send him on his way. But I'm glad that we didn't. And boy, what a season he's having. And I just think, while we've got all of them, we should all just be fucking football fans first, and we should all be just over the moon that these lads put a shirt on for Liverpool Football Club multiple times a week and go away with the W more often than not. We should be gassed about that, because the heat's about to turn up. Whether you like it or not, we might be 6 points clear, we might have a game in hand, but the Champions League knockouts are due to start any moment. We're going to have a big knockout game in the League Cup final. We're going to have games in the FA Cup coming up thick and fast. Tough games in the Premier League are going to start happening again as well. Bournemouth next week being a prime example. We all need to be on the same page as the players. The mentality is we're all in this together. The players, they just come out and said it so far this season. Salah's come out and said it so far this week. You know, the expectation and what they're aiming for as fans now, our objective, what I would want us all to be doing, is just pouring pure positivity into the fact that we could have a special season. We was talking in mid-watch along about parties and it going off, and I'm just thinking, how boss will it be if there's Premier League or a Champions League there to just top it off with? So let's just all collectively take a big breath and just remind ourselves that nothing is done yet, and ultimately there is still plenty of football to be played. Liverpool have got it, and they're going to need every single one of us around the world to be willing it into existence, that we can get stuff over the line. So yeah, that's exactly what we should be focusing on. C-Mac says, not one player in the you're messing category today. No, I think we can confirm that right now. Spoiler alert, there's no you're messings today. There is going to be none from me. No, absolutely none. Mo is inevitable. He is the football's equivalent of Dan Club. Yeah, if Dan's trying to track you down, he will find you. He will find this man, and he will put a microphone in front of them and a camera probably, and he will get some words on the record, because that's what Dan Club does, in the same way that Mo Salah does find the back of the net and get his targets as well. Kane JFT97 says, best midfield performance of the season. Yeah, it really was really good. The Red Shrimper says, I love that attitude, Errol. We are like millions of red musketeers. I like that. I could do with the musketeers top. They used to be sick back in the day, then. I rate the musketeers. But yeah, guys, Nigel says he's absolutely buzzing, bro. Honestly, this season, it's gone far better than what I expected. I don't know what anybody else's expectations was from the start of the season, but look at where we are, the position that we're in, the way the players are playing, the attitudes, the players that we're bringing in off the bench. It all bodes well. So if there's ever a time to just double down on being positive, now is that time, because football, we've seen how quick your fortunes can change. You know what I mean? Like, City were just on the back of a floppy thinking that they was just going to keep winning forever, and then all of a sudden it just overnight just drifted away, and they've not been able to regain that dominance since, and they've been a little bit wobbly and shaky ever since. So let's enjoy it. That's all I'll say. And look, at the end of the day, you support your team or you want to support your team, but that's just how I'm going to be. And I've told people, whatever panel shows that I do, whatever other little interviews or podcasts that is just my mentality from now until the end of the season. I want to be in the moment, enjoying the ride. I am here for it. Right, so let's just see then. This is an interesting comment. I used to watch 80s videos, and that's what we looked like back in the day. Do you think there are similarities between Liverpool of old and this current Liverpool side? Because I think one of the players was asked the question the other day, is this the best Liverpool team that they've played in? You've been here for a number of seasons. I can't remember who it was in terms of the content. I'm just looking at the faces now. If it jumps out at me, might have been Robertson, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's interesting because 18, 19, 19, 20, 2021, there were some really good Liverpool teams, and obviously we don't always win the top prizes in those years, but you do sit there and think they was absolutely brilliant, and in another period of time they just had a supreme amount of dominance. It will be interesting. That's a funny one. Dickie O'Ren says, Dad knocked on my door this morning asking for an interview. I told him I only played in school. Expect a video Redmen Plus soon. Yeah, literally. Oh, George Russell. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I went too early last season. I went too early. I'd started being quad father this, quad father that, and obviously it all come crumbling down. So I'm not gonna say I'm the quad father yet, but by God, I would absolutely love that. That would be unbelievable if we just clocked footy. I don't. If Trent gets off after winning the quad, fair enough. He's clocked footy. Fair. But I'm not going all in on the quad father business yet. Get me the Premier League. Get me the Champions League. If you can do those two things for me, you can have whatever you want. Yeah, absolutely right, guys. Because we have touched on quite a fair bit there. Not as much about I think everyone's just in a really feel good mood, and I think we don't always have to go into a bit of a deep dive. That's what all the other shows are for. We can just kick it because at the end of the day, this is about your thoughts and your feelings. So if you're feeling good, I'm feeling good. We can just chop it up. I don't mind that at all. Fowler says, Dad and I went every home game for years and went to a lot of aways as well. Moved over here and I'm an armchair supporter now. So expensive to travel. My last game was Rafa as a manager. Wow, so it's been a long time since you've been able to get to the ground at Anfield. But you know what? You support wherever you support in your own way. You still back the team, you still love the club, and that's what it's all about. So yeah. Nigel says, no, we were past quicker during the Paisley years. Okay. I think we were just winning football back then, weren't we? We were just the dominant force. And it's interesting because obviously the evolution of football, I was watching a Fabregas clip the other day where he's talking about like everything seems very robotic in the systems at the moment and there's not the freedom and the creativity anymore. And I just think back in the late 80s and 90s, it was just the methodology to football and the whole approach and the football ideology was just completely different. Every now and again, you will have a pioneer like a Paisley or a Shankly or, even a Alex Ferguson that will come in, and even an Arsene Wenger, implement new things that just take teams and other teams take little bits from it and it just elevates the game. And I think since the Pep and the Klopp, especially in the Prem, these new managers really looked at how we can't beat them in terms of individual quality. So we have to perform as a better all-round system. And as a system, these are ways that we can kind of get results and survive at the highest level. And more teams have adopted those type of philosophies. There's less mavericks within the game. And I think that does make a bit of a difference as well in terms of the type of football as a product that we're seeing now at the top end of the spectrum. Yeah, Gino says talk of a quad or possibility of winning a trophy when you're not in the final is cheap. Yeah, I was cheap last year then, bro. I was. Sorry. I didn't say it after we won the League Cup, though, in all fairness. But yeah, I get your point. I do get your point. Right, guys, stick around because I am going to go over to the board in a couple of moments. We are going to do the player rankings. Spoiler alert, there's no Are You Messins, but we can have a little deep dive because we still need to figure out who is going to be our man of the match. This has been your player. This has been your show. Again, this has been your fan reaction. I've been your host, Errol. If you do want to follow us on the socials, it's at Errol0151, and I will catch you over at the board in a couple of moments.